Joseph Bennett and Kassi Underwood and myself are all on the same screen.
That is huge. This is the first time. This is the inaugural event of the three of us being together, Kassi Underwood. Did you know that?
I did not know that. This is so, I did not even know that.
I mean, it's a bold new world.
It's a bold new world.
It's a bold new world.
Tell me how you are, Meredith Grande. Let's start with that.
Okay, we're going to start with that. I am good. Where did you go?
Jesse, my lady, because the two of you look so glamorous and well lit, and I'm like, what happened to my light? Where did it go? I went to go get pizza. That's where I went.
I'm really good. I feel like I'm moving and grooving quite well into 2024.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to just be loving more, accepting more, giving more, all of the things. And so I'm delighted to like have conversations with people like you and Kassi and to continue to just grow so I can be a better person.
Loving more, accepting more, giving more, growing. That's huge. I'm tired already. Kassi Underwood, how are you this morning?
Dancing, Joseph. How are you? How are you?
I am. Do you know the word flustered?
I do.
I get so flustered by tech stuff and passwords and links and do I have the right link, and yeah, just flustered. So I'm just yes ending it. Audience, if you know what yes ending is, it's an improv maxim that we go with. Kassi, how are you? Tell us about you. What's new in your world?
I'm good. I feel very proud for having just figured out how to connect this to Instagram. I hope it's working. I feel so proud of that. Like my confidence just took a huge leap.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love it.
So some people might not know who you are, so allow me one moment to introduce you, if I may. Kassi served as the inaugural meditation advisor at Harvard Innovation Labs. She is a teacher, author, elder, millennial divorcee, and mom. She has taught at Columbia, Soho House, and Wonderlust, and has been featured in the New York Times, Women's Health, Create and Cultivate, Yoga Journal, and more. She is the author of May Cause Love, published by HarperOne, and host of the Big Energy podcast. She holds master's degrees from both Columbia and Harvard. And what's not written on your bio is that you are passionate. Forgive me for putting that word in there. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are passionate about helping women get a hold and get their shit together with money. Is that true or true?
That's very true. Yes. I'm passionate about getting my own shit together around money and really learning how to, magnetize it and all that. And I had a big money journey, and it's kind of like the story of my life. And I think it's the story of a lot of our lives. We live in we live in a culture where we need to have money in order to do what we want most of the time. So yeah, it gives me great pleasure to see women make a lot of money and see their lives change and to get them to say yes to whatever they're desiring.
Oh, so Kassi, this is like the work you do just is like, I think absolutely beautiful, because I want to step backwards a little bit with the journey, because you often say, because I've now attended 2 of your live webinars, if you will. And then I was in a stand-up comedy class with you, which was awesome. And I continue to get to know you. But a couple of times I've heard you mention how artists, advocates, people who are doing work, like works of service, often I'm putting myself in the we category as an artist who has gone through this, like the scarcity mentality, or the I shouldn't deserve this because I'm trying to do better in the world. Can you speak a little bit into that? Because that's huge. It's really huge around how artists and people of service kind of undervalue what they're bringing into this world because of how our world looks at those people.
Yes. Well, there's so many aspects of this, but one of them is that, thank you for bringing that up. So I too identify as an artist. I'm a writer. an activist. I'm a spiritual teacher, so in kind of like a helping profession. And so anybody who's listening who might be a therapist or psychologist or social worker or an activist or creative in some way, a lot of us were taught or even were conditioned to believe that like you're a good person if you don't have a lot of money, or if you don't make a lot of money, or if you don't charge a lot of money, and you're a bad person if you do. So there's almost this shame that can come up for us if we do make money, or if we command a lot of money or receive a lot. Not just internal shame, but there can be a sense of feeling judged by others in our community, that we're going to be perceived as not in it for the right reasons, not the real deal, really just out for ourselves, just wants attention, whatever. They're a fraud, they're a con artist, whatever, like whatever your, put down the a preference is, you can like choose how you want to be, feeling put down. And then that's kind of like what your ego will run with. And I certainly felt that way for years. I made $2,400 a month over and over and over again for 10 years as a tutor. And I was teaching at Columbia. I was doing something that looked really good on paper. I had a degree in writing from Columbia. I then went to get a Master's of Divinity from Harvard, and still felt so bad about charging money, even though I couldn't pay my own bills. And so I think that there's this kind of like, I'm a good person if I don't charge money, even if it puts me in a position where I'm late on payments or I can't pay or whatever it is. And this has to be like crushed. Like, we need a whole new paradigm around artists and creatives and healers and activists, because we are the ones who should have the money, because we would do really good things with it.
Oh, man.
It's a really good idea for us to get rich. And that's one part of it. But the other part is that a lot of these are, some of these traditions, especially like teacher and being in a helping profession, are traditionally female jobs. And because of those, they tend to be undervalued, and people think that we should do it for free. There's an emotional labor element of like, yes, of course, women should work for free. You shouldn't charge for that. You should just give it away for free as a good person. And so really making money not a moral question. What you charge is what you charge. It's not a question of like, am I a good person if I charge this? That's really one piece, is like, take the morality over out of how much you are charging. You're not a billion, like nobody listening to this is probably a billionaire. I don't think you need to worry about whether you're a good person with your charging yet. If you're a billionaire, we can talk, but we can talk for a lot of reasons. But we do not, like, you probably don't need to worry about how much you're charging. That's one piece. But the other piece is that if you're worried about charging too much because you're going to send people away from being able to work with you, this is where humility comes in. You're not the only show in town. There's people who might have been doing this for less time than you, and that need to charge less because they're still getting their feet wet with it. So if you're charging, if you have a lot of experience and you're charging the same amount as someone with very little experience, you're taking up space where they could be, really working with new clients, and those clients aren't going to work with them. They're going to work with you because you've got 10 years of experience. This other person has 1, and they're not going to be able to really develop themselves. So I would say charge more so you can get out of the way, bring in new clients who are going to be a better vibrational match for whatever you're charging, and let new people have their experience too and make money.
I love how you just explained that. Go ahead, Joseph.
I have 2 parts I think are at play here, and correct me if I'm wrong. I want to do a podcast called Correct Me If I'm Wrong.
And this one's called Are You Waiting for Permission, Joseph?
And the part is, the deservingness, right? The self-love, the am I worthy of this, right? So that's a whole gamut of that we have talked about on this podcast quite often. But then the second part is, what will they think of me, right? Who is going to be judging me if I say this is my hourly rate, or this is my flat fee, or this is my project fee? So those 2 dichotomies are happening simultaneously. And I believe that for a lot of us, Kassi, that just creates a paralysis, right? So I have all this self-judgment, and then I'm worried about what they're going to say about me when I put forth my proposal, or at a cocktail party, I say, oh, this is my hourly rate or whatever. So between those two things, I think that the modus operandi for a lot of us, and this is my question to you, is we just play small. We just say, you know what, I'll just charge my $25 an hour or whatever it is, right? I'm sorry to put a number on it because there are some people doing fabulous work for $25 an hour. So between those two dichotomies, we get paralyzed. We're like, you know what? I'm just not going to do anything. Do you find that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's my experience. I also think we should have more cocktail parties where we discuss our hourly rate.
I don't do hourly anymore.
Nice, Meredith. Yes, as you shouldn't. As you shouldn't. Yes. So yeah, I mean, I totally dealt with that. I had so many beliefs, not just about how much I charge, but what it actually takes to have a business is being visible. And I had a lot of fear around visibility. My early Instagram posts are like pictures of like my feet and other people. So like I was like not going to put my own face. I would just take pictures of other people. And then when you have a business, you have to be visible and like put yourself out there. And so I had a lot of fear around people are going to think I'm self-obsessed, self-absorbed or whatever. My Facebook picture used to be a picture of someone else, you know, like it ran really deep around this fear of being seen. And all of this has to be dealt with. And so first of all, whatever you're afraid that people are going to say, think about you, say behind your back or say to your face, they probably will. And that's my experience. Whatever you're afraid they're going to write about you or whatever, they will. And so, because a lot of people are harboring the same beliefs around money and visibility that you have, that you're going to have to break free of in order to be of higher service. So your drive to be of service has to be higher than your drive to be beloved, to be approved of, to be basically invisible, but like liked, you know? And so really having your vision set on just like, what's the highest service, not what's going to get me the most approval or my family's love and support. I have received negative feedback, like some of the worst things that I even thought would be said about me or to me have been said about me and to me. And yeah, like totally, I'm a human being. Like I definitely cry tears when those things happen. But I also know that is not like my end game is not to pander to cruelty or to being, you know, especially for women, having your accomplishments diminished or erased, even by other women, your qualifications erased. You know, not being seen in that way. I don't need to pander to people who are mean. Essentially, I am here to serve the people who would like to work with me, and I'm like more than happy to do that if it means I have to shed a few tears. So really, just setting your sights higher, having a higher vision, having a higher, like keeping your eye on that rather than being liked and approved of. And then the best way to do this is to be surrounded by a community of people who can really see you, so that when these things happen, when people say or write things about you or say things to you, that you can go back into this community and they can tell you who you really are. They can tell you you are brilliant, you're beautiful, you're doing the right thing, you're a good person, you know why you are charging that rate, you know what you're doing, you know, all of this. And that's why I teach money in the context of a mastermind, because we need, you know, with women, we're going to surround each other. And Joseph, we would want you to be there too as an honorary, yes, great person. and like really be surrounded by people who are going to be able to see you when you feel like you've just gotten knocked down.
Amen. I love this. Kassi, I love all of that. You just have so many beautiful pearls of wisdom. And I'm curious for that person who's listening right now. All of this sounds amazing, but they want to know the one tiny small step that they can take right now for visibility that doesn't feel too scary, just enough scary.
Okay, so well, there's a couple things. First of all, when you're if you want deep and lasting transformation around money, it's like, so I've never done this before, but I assume it's like when you're exercising and lifting weights. And like I can only assume that it's uncomfortable when you put like a heavier weight on. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you're lifting a 5-pounder. That's comfortable probably, but I don't know if 5 pounds, I don't know enough. I really don't know if 5 pounds is going to make a difference. 10 pounds weight, yeah, I can maybe I'll get a little something. But like if I want to make a real change, maybe like 10 pounds, okay? Is that going to be comfortable? Am I going to be sore after I lift that weight? Yeah, I am. But also I'm going to be stronger. And that's what it needs to be like around money, is if you want to make real change, and this is kind of the difference between people talking about manifesting and actually transforming yourself and your life so that you are a match for more money, is that don't look for it to be comfortable while you're making that initial change. Eventually 10 pounds won't feel that heavy, but in the beginning it will. So that small thing around visibility, I don't know, with me, my nervous system was going to melt down whether I was sending like a 3-word tweet or posting a picture of myself on Instagram. Like I've ruined dinners over a typo in a tweet and feeling so ashamed of myself afterward. So I really get this fear around visibility. So I would say don't look for it to be comfortable, but also the one little thing you can do is like raise your rate just a little bit and put it on your website if you have one, or send like, I would start with that, or post something with your actual face on it and with a belief that you find just to be like a little bit controversial about something, or share like a little something about yourself, even if it's like what you ate for breakfast. I don't care, just something about yourself. In an Instagram story, it will go away,
Yeah. Yes.
Same question
Thank
to you,
you.
Meredith. Same question to you. So somebody, one of our listeners, one of our watchers is wanting to put themselves out there a little bit and take a micro step in vulnerability. What's your advice for them? What do you suggest that they do to put themselves out into the world a little bit?
I love, well, Kassi, I feel like you've hit upon a couple of things that I would have also said, but I would just say is that you need to just post something simple at first. Notice how you feel in your body. And I always like to say that I always like to use that phrase, notice what you notice. Just and maybe journal about it, write it down. Just like, oh, that was uncomfortable. I felt tightness in my chest. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I had doubt. I wanted to delete it. Whatever that comes up for you, just notice it, but don't delete it. Just breathe into it, allow it to live in time and space, and then do it again the next day. And then just notice what you notice, and then do it again, and then do it again. But you've got to commit. And I think that's a piece of the growth part, is that when you start to commit and you do it consistently, I have learned, because I'm similar to you, Kassi, like I would ruin dinners over not typing something right, or having said something out loud grammatically incorrect, or whatever. And now I get, yeah, Joseph, we can all relate to it. Now I have haters, and I have to be honest with you. I love my haters. I'm like, bring it on. I'm not going to give you a lot of energy, but thank you for boosting my algorithm.
Yes.
Like, it's fine. And that just means that I have said something that people are thinking about.
Yeah,
I've said something that people are considering and they're thinking about. So I have built that confidence over time, and it wasn't an overnight thing. I feel like I'm still building it. There are still things that I get to work on. So I love that too, that you talked about community, finding the people that are going to lift you up. And if you have people in your community that are not willing to do that, then maybe we need to reevaluate those relationships. Joseph, you too. What's one baby step?
I always say the same thing. I've been harping on this song for years. You both have just mentioned it, and it is the power of community. But I actually like 3D community versus virtual community, because it just feels more real when you can sit in a room or across a table and have a cup of coffee, decaf, please. and share yourself with somebody and have them lift you up. I think there's nothing like that. We, as entrepreneurs, we have this idea that we have to do it all alone, and that when we have fables, when we have fall down, when we have failures, that it's all on us. And I believe we need to go tap people on the shoulder, people that love us, people that believe in us, people that want to lift us up and say, this is what I just did. I put myself out there. I decided not to put myself out there, or I did it and I got haters, or I did it, whatever. We need to have that team. So together, everyone achieves miracles, right? We need to have that team of people. And you just said it, Meredith. If we don't have those people, or the people aren't lifting us up, they need to be reevaluated, right? Need to be like, I'm sorry, you're kind of not helping me, right?
Yeah.
I just love having people in my life that say to me those words of, how can I support you? And I want to be that person for others. I think that's a huge step in our vulnerability and in our visibility. So community.
Beautiful.
Word.
So Kassi, you have actually a mastermind coming up. Would you like to take this time to just share with our listeners what you have going on?
I would love to. So I do have a 6-month mastermind called Money Metaphysics for Maverick Women. Revolutionize your relationship with money and self-expression. So it's about, being visible, transforming your relationship with money, and having actually more money in your bank account. So that if you can imagine, like, more money in your actual bank account, and lifestyle changes, and being able to support, the organizations that you want to support, or be able to buy furniture or travel, or do whatever it is that you're wanting to do that you feel like you have to say no to. We're going to change that so that you can say yes, and you will have the tools and you will have the habits to command more money whenever you need it. Money will no longer be a mystery to you. For me, it was like a real mystery for a long time. Like, how do you actually make more money? Like, it seemed really confusing to me. It seemed like magical to me. It's not. It's going to be totally demystified by the end of this 6-month period. So here's how it works. It is a group of women. We will meet almost every week for 6 months. If you've been in a mastermind before, the container here, I just want to brag a little bit that it's a really strong and good container. I know there are some masterminds where you might feel between calls like you're just kind of like left to your own devices. And this is going to hold you really tightly. So every other week we have a teaching call, and that's where I'm going to see you. I'm going to know what's going on in your life, and I'm going to often redirect you and make sure that you're on the right path to accelerate your financial growth. I know for me, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And when I hired coaches and when I hired people who had experienced financial transformation, it accelerated the path. I have no doubt you could probably figure this out on your own, but it will take you a lot longer if you're doing it on your own. And so this is every other week, I will give you direct guidance. We also have teachers coming in, including Meredith. Yes. Every other week. So we'll be teaching tools and we'll be teaching master classes. Do you want to share about what you're going to be teaching, Meredith?
We are going to play, and we're going to be embodied. We're going to do improv. We're going to do a lot of yes-anding each other, because I feel truly like engaging your body and having that sense of play is really a wonderful way to release some of the messages that we tell ourselves on a regular basis as well. Like just transforming that into physical.
Yes, that is so good. That is so good. And that is actually kind of a theme with a lot of the visiting teachers who are coming in, are going to be teaching more embodied elements of manifesting of money, of recreating your relationship with yourself, which is a lot of the money experience is actually like, who am I to me? And really recreating that so that you have great self-confidence. And there's also just some like, we have a slut workout happening. There's all kinds of.
Did you say slut workout?
Slut workout with Sophie Watson. It's so fun. We just move like sluts for an hour.
I love you. Joseph, move like a slut.
Yeah. Joseph's really got it. All this like,
Oh my gosh. Our listeners on LinkedIn had no idea what they were
They're like, we
showing
got to
us
shake
this
shit up on
morning.
LinkedIn, Joseph.
Yes, we do. Please. Um, can I latch on to something that was just said that
yes,
was
Yeah.
really powerful to me, and it was what Meredith said about we're going to be yes ending each
yeah,
other. And sometimes we feel like in our community that we need to have those devil's advocate who say like, oh, I don't think that's going to work and this is why. We need
Hmm.
more people in our community that are yes ending us. I want to raise my rates to $50,000. Yes, and I believe in you, whatever it is, right? We need those yes enders. We sometimes surround ourselves with wet blankets, as Julia Cameron calls them, or devil's advocate. And I think we probably have enough of them.
Yeah.
So find more yes enders. Thank you for reminding us of that, Meredith Grundy.
You're
What are
welcome.
you working on, Meredith? You got a lot coming down the pike. Tell us one thing
Oh,
you're so excited about.
what am I excited about? I don't even know where to start. I'm just excited. I am just like on this mad path to building my business and helping more people tell their stories. I get to do uh, this really amazing workshop series with Amazon AWS for their new voices program. I'm on hold for a commercial right now. Like just fun shit. Like I just am.
You are
It's
clearly not waiting for permission. You're
I am
not.
not waiting. I waited for permission for too long, and then I figured out like I love autonomy, and I need to start figuring this stuff out on my own. I cannot wait for people to help me out because that will suck the energy dry. So that's what I got going on, and I get to see Kassi next weekend, I think, or this
Oh,
weekend.
yes. I think it's next weekend.
I think it's next weekend.
Next weekend, yes.
Yes. So that's what I
which will
got
have
going
been
on.
3 weeks ago by the time this recording is released.
It probably will be. So, like, what this is very meta. So, while you're listening, listener, this may have already happened.
Right. The meeting between Kassi and Meredith may have already happened, and you'll be like, oh, I can't believe I missed it. Yeah. Hashtag meta.
But
Kassi, what are you excited about? Like, I know you've got this mastermind that's coming up, which is incredibly exciting. And I would imagine all of the amazing women that you get to meet. But what else in your life are you super excited about?
Okay, so just a word on that. So the enrollment for that ends on February 14th.
Oh,
Yes. So be sure if you're wanting to enroll, you can go book a call with me. It's KassiUnderwood.com/the Maverick Woman. Just FYI. Okay. So I wanted to make sure you all got in before it was too late. Oh,
look
thank
at
you
that.
so much.
Look at that.
Well, the
I
fancy
I am
technology.
so fancy. I am so fancy. I'm so fancy.
And we have a comment in the comment section.
We
as
do.
well.
Eli Hans, who you happen to be married to, says that we are
Says-
adorable.
You are all adorable.
Oh,
Hi,
that's
Eli.
so
You are
Thank
also
you, Eli
adorable.
Chapu. Thank you. Mhm. So I'm actually, I'm going to pretend that you asked me
Yes,
what
I
was
was about
going on with me. Because the cue that Eli showed up right now is that we are each co-producing a solo theater festival here in San Miguel de Allende,
I'm so excited.
Mexico, where we live. And artists are coming from New York and Chicago and Los Angeles, San Francisco, and we are doing our show out of the blue. And that's huge. It's just huge. And I want to say a little bit of a shout out. Eli will probably say, I can't believe you said that. But we were trying to raise a significant amount of money to produce this solo theater festival. And it was a big ask, right? We have to go out there and ask people, some of whom we didn't know, and say, could you give us money for this theater festival? And as of 2 weeks ago, we raised 104% of our goal, which we thought was, oh, we're never going to reach that, right? So San Miguel Theater Festival, it's smasolofest.com. SMA stands for San Miguel Allende. And listeners, you could come. I don't use the word should. You could come and see some brilliant solo theater. Master classes are happening at our theater downstairs in this property. And there'll be master classes in choreography and stand-up comedy and pantomime and monologues. And it's an exciting, exciting time.
That is really exciting. And if you haven't been to San Miguel de Allende, then you need to go and you need to go see the Solo Fest. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous town. I've been there several times. I'm a big fan. And
It's where
you
we
also
met.
have an art show coming up, don't you?
Yes,
Like
soon.
what?
Soon.
Well, then talk about it.
Oh, well, I'm an assemblage artist, and for people who don't know what that is, I find things in the streets or in thrift stores or in trash cans, and I create art with them. It's assemblage art. It's found object sculptures, and Pablo Picasso is credited with doing the first. And I do a show out every year. I have a blowout show this year of 75 pieces of art. Meredith Grundy is one of my collectors, and I raffle off a piece of every year for like $4 a raffle ticket. It's like super affordable. And it is artbybennett.com. So there's that.
Artbybennett.com. I love it.
February
Joseph,
23rd.
I love it.
Thank you for asking.
Cassie,
Congratulations.
I'm just going to put in the captions really quick. I'm going to put how people get in touch with you. Also, we'll have that in our show notes. So please, when this comes out and is released as a podcast, please check it out there. You can also follow us on YouTube, areyouwaitingforpermission.com. We now have a YouTube page. We need followers. So before you say goodbye today, you better be getting on YouTube and
You better. Do not
subscribing.
wait for permission to go to YouTube and subscribe.
There's
Don't
no
wait
waiting for permission to do
no
that.
waiting for permission.
No, heck to the no. And if you haven't followed Kassi on Instagram or on LinkedIn or Facebook, please do. Same with Joseph Bennett. Please follow him, follow me. Please continue to listen and to watch Are You Waiting for Permission? And we are so grateful for all of you. So
And my
Kassi,
big ask is,
yeah,
listener, go ahead and close your eyes if it feels safe and you're not driving listening to this. And just know that today is the last day that you need to wait for permission. Beginning today, you can give yourself permission, and you can create a community of people that are also giving you permission to live your boldest, bravest life. The life that you can only imagine now, give yourself permission to live that life. Breathe all of that in. Open your eyes. Today's the day.
thank
Mofo.
you. Thank you, Joseph. Kassi, thank you.
Thank
And
you so much for having me. Such a
yeah,
pleasure.
of course. And we will see our beautiful audience next month on the first Tuesday at 12 noon, where we will have a nice conversation with Jenny Lincoln. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.